you're getting down, baby. I want it now, baby. Come and get it on, baby. I want it now, baby.
You've come back to another episode of the Curtis Zone. Good job, everybody, because today is a very special episode, one I've been waiting to do for a while now, and I am back with it. We're going to talk about the Powerpuff Girls, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give you a history of the Powerpuff Girls. Don't be shy. Really watch this, all right? Put on some headphones. And remember, if you like what you see, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. If you want to share this with friends, share it with friends. You know we love it when you do. Not much in the way of news. In fact, there's only one piece of news I want to share with you guys, and that is this. The live-action Japanese anime thing has really taken off on Netflix, and they are starting off with a live-action Zoids. They've already started the casting process for a live-action Zoids. And I don't know which one they're going with. Are they going with Zoids Chaotic Century, New Century Zero, Zoids Fusion? Nothing is set in stone, but they have also done a large casting process for One Punch Man, Dot Hack Sign, Gundam. A lot of live action projects made by Netflix are gonna be coming very, very soon. And personally, I can't wait. Let's go ahead and get started with this episode, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a very, very good episode. It's gonna take me a while to put it together. It took me a while to research and find my favorites and the most important moments. Now, when I think of important moments, for those of you who do not know, when I think of important moments, I always think to myself, does this moment shape the rest of the series for episodes to come? So, yeah, so now you know. Let's do this, alright? Let's get started by talking about the non-fiction origin. Then I'm going to give you the fictional origin. Then I'm going to give you important moments, favorite episodes, that end it all with powers and abilities of the main protagonist. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, like and subscribe. As far as its non-fiction origin goes, the Powerpuff Girls would have its television debut in November 1998, had its final episode in March of 2005, lasted 6 seasons and totaling in 78 episodes. However, since every episode had 2 different segments to it, it totaled in 136 different segments. And it also had 2 movies and a Christmas special. That was pretty awesome, my friends. It was an action comedy superhero series. It was originally created by Greg McCracken, and until it was taken over by Chris Savino in 2003 to 2005. It was pretty awesome to see it. It was pretty cool to see a group of young girls take on the world of evil and win. Now the non-fiction origin out of the way, let's get into the fictional origin. The fictional origin of the series was given to us in both the theme song of the series and in the Powerpuff Girls animated movie, which I'm going to talk about right now. Seriously, right now. Just right now. Welcome to the city of Townsville, which is a normal city where we will meet a reclusive scientist named Professor Utonium. He was actually quite lonely, and so he decided to create the perfect little girl.
Sugar, spice, and of course everything nice. These are the ingredients in which Professor Utonium put together to create the perfect little girl. However, upon entering these ingredients, Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, only known as Chemical X. And thus the Powerpuff Girls would be born. And when they were born, Professor Utonium named them Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. However, upon meeting them, he would discover that they had abnormal abilities, and so he would try and integrate them into society. However, upon entering society, the 3 of them would be shunned by society due to their strange powers because they cause way too much destruction. And due to this, Professor Utonium would be incarcerated for his crimes and creating the girls. And so the girls would wander the streets by themselves in search of a home. After being shunned by society, the girls would come back to Townsville to fight a villain known as Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo, who created an army of monkeys in order to take over Townsville. The girls would defeat him, and eventually the people of Townsville would accept them, and they would dedicate their lives to stopping crime and the forces of evil.
Now with all that out of the way, let's talk about some important moments. There's only like 1 or 2 important moments that we're going to talk about. The first important moment is when they all get their new powers. You have Blossom with her ice breath ability. You have Bubbles with her sonic scream ability, and Buttercup with her tornado powers. Now they all use these abilities to help the people of Townsville, and now there are, and well, that's that. There's all that. Now let's talk about another important moment. This important moment is when we meet all the villains. Now here's the thing about all the villains. All of them are unique in their own way, but the most important villain we're going to talk about is Mojo Jojo. Like I said before, Professor Utonium got pushed by a monkey that made him spill Chemical X. But here's the thing. That monkey was also infected by Chemical X, and he would turn into Mojo Jojo. That was pretty awesome. Mojo Jojo would then go up against the Powerpuff Girls on multiple occasions, all because he hates his father. Now I have 3 favorite moments that I want to talk about. The first favorite moment, my number 1 favorite moment, is when we first meet the Rowdy Rough Boys. Here's the thing about the Rowdy Rough Boys. They are the opposite of the Powerpuff Girls in every way, shape, and form. First of all, they're boys. Second of all, they are very rough. They are very rowdy. They are basically they're basically 3 teenage boys that cannot be controlled whatsoever. However, Mojo Jojo made them in a prison toilet. That was with nothing more than stuff you would find in prison, okay? He didn't have any scientific equipment whatsoever. That shows a very large feat of engineering. My second favorite moment is when we first meet CAR. Now here's the thing about CAR. CAR is an acronym that stands for Kinetic All-Terrain Recreational Racer. In this episode, Professor Utonium built a car and that talks, an AI, a robotic car that can transform into many different things, including a jet, a tank, and a giant robot. And the car went crazy because it wanted a family. And so the professor, in the end, created a robot driver for the robot car. My final favorite moment is the Powerpuff Girls versus the Justice Friends. In this episode, the Powerpuff Girls are going up against the Justice Friends in a series of tasks to show if they're ready to join the ranks of the Justice Friends. I thought it was pretty cool. These girls outdoing the world's greatest heroes. I recommend you guys watch that episode.
If you say you want me, tell me how you gonna be.
Hey Royce.
Yo.
Now with all that said and done, let's talk powers and abilities, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the thing about the Powerpuff Girls. They're basically animated versions of Superman. They have all the powers of Superman, including his invulnerability, his super speed, they have super strength, and they have amazing punches as well. They also have a lot of other abilities, including their heat vision, x-ray vision, and genetic modification. Their genetic modification gives them the ability, a lot of other abilities, including Bubbles' supersonic scream, Blossom's ice breath, and Buttercup's tornado powers. They also have energy manipulation abilities, and they can also think at 3 times the normal capacity of a human being. All I'm saying is that the Powerpuff Girls are 3 girls that you don't want to mess with. With all that said, another episode of The Curse Zone comes to a screeching close, ladies and gentlemen. I ask that you remember to hit that like and subscribe button for more content from here on The Curtis Zone if you want to see more of me, my smiling face, and of course more of my bouncing pecs. Give it up for our sponsors, of course, Coastal Waste and Recycling, because as you know, your garbage will power someone's world. I'll be back soon, as you can see down there. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, if you just want to make a request for any episode period, put it in that comment section down below, and I'll get back to you, alright? If you guys like what you're seeing, hit the like button. If you want to share with somebody, share with somebody. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with more for you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.